All right, welcome back for part 2 of tonight's podcast. My sponsor again, dear friend, Kay Petrini, who is our West Coast supervisor of everything that goes on from, the entire West Coast. Come on, Mike. Kay Petrini, this is her message. Seeing the White House being destroyed is surreal. And not hearing a single so-called leader call for an immediate presidential psychiatric intervention and removal from office under the 25th Amendment is incomprehensible. Support Mike's podcast. He is our lifeline. And keep it lit. All right, Kay, thank you. We do need your support. I say it every week, and I apologize, as I always do. I just had one of these rich, where's George Soros when I need him, right? If I had one wealthy liberal say, all right, Malloy, here, stop bugging your audience. But I don't have that. That's okay. But this week, like last week and the week before that, stretching back for, 7, 8, 9 years, we still need your support every single week. So if you consider that it's necessary to keep us on the air, then go to MikeMalloy.com, please. Scroll down, you'll find a number of ways you can support this little old podcast. And however you choose to do it, I will be extremely grateful. It's just very simple. We need your support. This is a cooperative effort between you and me. And listen, while you're there, please check out, as I always mention, check out Rivermoon Wellness. There's a link to their website at my website. And my big thing about Rivermoon is their coffee. I think it is just, absolutely the best ever. But they also have other items and products that you might be interested in. So please check it out, Rivermoon Wellness, okay? Okay. It's been about a week since a bunch of journalists, real journalists, who are covering the Pentagon, turned in their press credentials because they were told to sign a new policy, to sign away their freedom guaranteed by the First Amendment, and to only operate within the Pentagon, no matter where they went or what they talked about or who they interviewed or what they wrote. They had to follow certain guidelines put together by this fucking drunk Pete Hegseth, right? So a lot of them said, no, I'm sorry, and left. Well, Pete Hegseth's little War Department announced what is being called a, quote, new media press corps that went into effect yesterday, I think. And this new media press corps comes from, yeah, you guessed it, all these neo-Nazi, ridiculous fucking online and not online so-called news sites that are nothing but a bunch of 25-cent fucking whores for Pete Hegseth and Donald Trump. No offense to real sex workers. I'm talking about the kind of whores that you wouldn't allow in your house for dinner. These kind. What? Destroying an independent press is an absolute requirement when a fascist regime begins its takeover of a democracy. The judicial system has to be neutered. The legislative branch, if one exists in the government, has to be canceled. And an independent media base, an independent free press, has got to be stifled, choked off, or destroyed. So the toilet rat is checking all the boxes on how to firmly protect himself from any kind of a rebellion that's going to occur when it's declared martial law and there will be no 2026 elections. You don't think that's coming? Oh, please, please. If you believe anything, that's what all this is a preamble for the toilet rat not to allow elections in 2026, that the present configuration of the legislative branch, the judicial branch, those judges or whomever who are up for election or re-election, they will be frozen right where they are now because this filthy goddamn Donald Trump has a chokehold on just about every avenue of resistance in this country, except the most important one, I hope, and that's us, we the people. This slimy son of a bitch does not have the ability to destroy us unless we allow him to. So this idea of stifling, choking off media in this country, a free press, has now reached the Pentagon. And according to the Post, 60 people from various news organizations that, according to this dumb fucking Hegseth, represent, quote, a broad spectrum of new media outlets and independent journalists. They say this shit knowing that it's bullshit. It's mockery. It's right in our faces saying, what the fuck are you American citizens going to do about it? You bunch of little sheep. You bunch of overweight, sorry, fucking egocentric sheep. You're not going to do anything. Just go about your business. Let us worry about, governing you. Well, this was announced by this Pentagon spokesperson, this little Nazi Sieg-Heiling fucker, Sean Parnell, in a statement on X yesterday. Of course. And in that statement, Sean Parnell adds that all the publications agreed to the Defense Department's press policy. Yeah, why wouldn't they? And according to a draft of the announcement obtained by the Washington Post, the coalition of signatories include a Nazi cable network, Real America Voice, a streaming service by this idiotic little fucker, Mike Lindell, the CEO of MyPillow. Jesus fucking Christ, he's got press credentials. The Gateway Pundit, another Nazi. The Post Millennial, another fascist organization. The National Pulse, I have a fucking idea what that is. And something called Red State. Oh, and also it includes the dead Charles Kirk's Turning Point USA's media brand, Frontlines, not to be confused, gentle listener, with the PBS Frontline programs. And there's also a press credentials given to some. What the fuck is an influencer? Is that somebody that has a bunch of followers on one of the social media platforms? Like if you have 10, 20 million looks or followers or whatever, then you become an influencer? What the fuck? An influencer? No, I get it. I understand that these little worms have incredible power thanks to the internet. But there's an influencer, another one, little Nazi called Tim Pool's Timcast. He gets Pentagon press credentials too. And then there's a Substack-based newsletter called Washington Reporter. Yeah, I'll bet. And the memo from the drunk said that, quote, many independent journalists also signed this agreement, giving up their press freedom. But what's his name? The spokesperson, Sean Parnell, didn't specify who these independent journalists are. So this new policy prevents journalists from getting information that Hegseth, the drunk, hasn't authorized for release. It all has to come from him, even unclassified details. So this little fucker, Sean Parnell, what goddamn holes do these people crawl out of at midnight and say, yeah, I want to go to work for Donald Christ Trump? I want to go to work for the drunk because that'll look good on my CV. Yeah. Well, anyway, that guy, Sean Parnell, he wrote this on X, quote, "New media outlets and independent journalists have created the formula to circumvent the lies of mainstream media and get real news directly to the American people." End quote. War is peace. Freedom is slavery. And what they're doing, have done with the Pentagon, is the effort to get past the lies of mainstream media and get real news to you and to me. Jesus Christ. And Parnell added this little fucker, he added this, quote, "Their reach," referring to these Nazi organizations, "their reach collectively are far more effective and balanced than the self-righteous media who chose to self-deport from the Pentagon," end quote. Self-deport meaning journalists, real journalists who said, sign that? Fuck you, Sean, and fuck the horse you rode in on, and your drunk boss, Hegseth. And that kind of an attitude to Sean Parnell is, well, they chose to self-deport. Yeah. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. You know, the Progressive Voices Network brings you commercial-free commentary from today's leading progressive radio hosts and pundits, like me, Mike Malloy, 24 hours a day. I'm not your typical old guy from the 80s or the 90s talk radio host, and Progressive Voices is not your typical talk radio network. It's a listener-supported nonprofit with no corporate control whatsoever over our broadcast. So hosts like me, Mike Malloy, are free to rant and scream and carry on about whatever we like. We're often controversial, but we're never boring. Weeknights, 9 p.m. in the East, 6 p.m. in the West on the Progressive Voices Network. Always progressive, always on. I'm Mike Malloy. Keep it lit.